are more lenient with their kids, even those that are part of
In fact, they drop their children to church. Today's parents.
I'm talking about those ones who aren't a part of us. I'm talking about the ones even on the inside. The level of accountability to just leave their kids and church is optional. But I even say that to say that's the generation we're dealing with. So we got to factor in that we sort of having to make up for a support system that's not there. That's why the school system the way it is, because kids are going to school who don't have a support system, and now teachers got to be mommy and daddy and teacher and disciplinarian where they lack it at home. So it's a tough generation. So we need enthusiasm and all the motivation we need to try and stay consistent in supporting the youth.
We have a major responsibility to stay current, and I like what Mrs. Cumberbatch said, because the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, when we consider our youth ministries, we have to consider our leadership, and we have to consider our church. We can have some really amazing ideas, but we would be in complete dishonor and out of order if we don't sit down and have a conversation with our pastor and say we're losing our youth. Here are some suggestions that I believe we can use to make this ministry that we have work better, and to make sure that we actually reach the young people that we have now. Because the truth of the matter is, we're not even reaching the young people we have now. We can't go out if we ain't reaching the young people we have now. Because if we go out and bring people in, they'd be like, well, why here? Why am I here? And so, listen, we're going to talk about going out. We're going to talk about growing our youth ministry because that's important. But before we bring everybody in, there has to be something for them to come to. Has to be. If ain't nothing for them to come to, we could go out and evangelize as much as we want. They can come 2, maybe 3 times. If we lucky. By the 3rd time, they can realize, ain't nothing happening here, ain't nothing for me to do. And they're going right back to where they were. All right? So we have to be practical. We have to really be practical. Really, really, really be practical. This approach to youth ministry was something that I found very, very weird and disturbing. One of the blessings of the program that I was enrolled in college is that in our final year, one of the courses that I took, we traveled from one side of Canada to the next. Now y'all know Canada is so huge you could put the United States in it twice. So this was a 4-week trip. We drove from all the way east, Toronto, to all the way west, Vancouver, British Columbia. And we visited a total of 40 youth ministries. And out of visiting all of those ministries, one of the weirdest things that I encountered that I did not understand, but I realized we don't approach youth ministry this way in our country, period. We went to this youth ministry where every single young person in this youth ministry skated. And that's all they did. They used to skate. They came to church. Their church had like an outdoor arena, and then they had an indoor arena. Now, of course, we're talking about a totally different culture with totally different weather conditions. So they needed an indoor space, right? And when you walk inside the door, there's a space for you to take off your shoes, to put on the skater shoes that they provided for you, or the skates. And there's ramps and flashing lights, and this is their youth ministry. Everybody who comes there skates. They have close to 300 young people in a room, all because they like to skate. And when we walked in there, now keep in mind now, my class that I was traveling with, there's about 50 of us, and I'm the only black person in there. Put some context to this. So, you know, all the white people excited, yeah, skate. No, black people, we don't skate. We don't skate. So I'm standing here and I'm watching this, and they skate, Christian music playing in the background. The music stops. The youth leader comes out, the youth pastor comes out, he's talking, and they still skating. So, you know, the youth leader and me wanted to sit down, children, sit down, man, talking, sit down. But what I didn't realize was that they were skating in groups. They had leaders in groups, and as the speaker was speaking, they were having discussions in their groups about what the speaker was saying.
Wow.
The one time the skating stopped was when it was time to pray. And when those young people started to pray, I was like, this is ministry. We are doing this. And then I started to think, okay, what is one thing that we have in the Bahamas that attracts young people like mad and like in droves and like plenty? Junkanoo. Can you imagine? I started to picture this auditorium, and it was so funny in preparing for this presentation, God reminded me of this. I started to picture this auditorium filled with a bunch of people with horns and drums. They come in here and they junkanoo for a good 40 minutes. And then we sit their tail down and give them the word of God. Why can't we do that? It seems ridiculous. It seems far-fetched. And especially for a holiness church where some of us don't really believe in junkanoo, but let's be real. That is what our young people are involved in. There's a certain set of them, and it ain't everybody, but there's a certain group of them, they eat, sleep, and drink junkanoo all year round. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand what's so exciting about blowing a horn till you're out of breath, about brushing till your legs feel like it'll fall off, about beating a drum till your hands swell. I do not get it, but I want us to think about it. Let's look at Junior Junkanoo. Look at that parade. Let's think about how many young people from all these different schools gather. They practice for months. They up late in the night pacing a thing. Why can't we give them the word of God when they paste in their junkanoo costume? Why can't we make them find a way to show forth their Christianity in their junkanoo costume? Why are we not taking this element that we have that's already attracting people and say, you know what? Let's try this. Let's try it maybe for a month. Let's take 4 weeks. Let's call somebody from the Valley Boys. Sorry, it's accents. Let's call somebody from the Valley Boys. Yeah. And let them come in and say, listen, come work with our young people. Let us know what we need to do for you to come in and work with our young people. We have some people who are interested in junkanoo. Let's try this. And we're using junkanoo as an example, but there's so many other things that we can do, like that we're missing because our eyes just aren't open to what the culture is really about. I was sitting down last night and I was like, okay, aside from junkanoo, what's really happening in the lives of these young people? Something that they're like all in. Listen to me. I hate hearing this because it's annoying to me. But the truth of the matter is, there is not one young person in this nation who is not into social media. Into snapping, into what's snapping, into taking photos and selfies, into record, listen to me. If they ain't into it, it's because their parents don't let them have a phone. And I promise you, they still have a Facebook profile, they still have an Instagram profile, and the only reason they don't have WhatsApp, Snap, and WhatsApp is they ain't got a phone. But I'm pretty sure if you check out their parents' phone, Snapchat on them. Because they put it there, Yvette son on my Snapchat now, on her phone. I just telling you. He's on Snapchat with your number in my phone. So is Anaya. Anaya is on Snapchat on Robert's phone, in my phone. Wow. So here's the thing. Every single one of them into this. Why? Why is this element sitting here and we're not using it for the kingdom? Yes. But we are now the leaders. We are now the leaders. And if we don't open up our mouth to our elders and say, hey, listen, we losing our young people. If we don't say something, they're going to die, and the church is going to die with them. Because guess what? Let's be real. When they die, we gone too. Y'all, they won't tell the truth. But when they die, we gone. We gone. So we have all of these these elements. We have a next group of Bahamian teenagers that they into dancing. I'm not talking about liturgical dance. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about ballet and, I'm talking about dancing, like, going to the club and dancing. Now, here's the thing. Highway Church of God don't dance. We don't do that. But we have an entire generation of young people who will club Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Club closed on Sunday, back again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When they come out of school, they go to work, they drink, they go to the club. Go to work, they drink, they go to the club. They go to work, they drink, they go to the club. And we are holiness church. Holiness, righteousness in the sight of God. We don't dance, but we're losing an entire generation. Because we can't play gospel music and they can't dance because dancing is easy. In fact, we will say that that's for the world to do instead of making it our responsibility to redeem that thing that God has created. Because if we can do it, God created it, and that means He created it for His glory. There's absolutely nothing out there in the world that God did not create. If we have the ability to do it, that means that God put it in us to give Him glory. So if somebody's body can move in a way that you look at it and be like, how do they do that? God gave them the ability to do it. So why are we not taking this God-given ability? Our responsibility as the church is to redeem. That's our responsibility in the earth, to redeem. Why aren't we redeeming these things? I was looking at so many faces last night when DJ Godson called people up here and they was dancing. I was looking at the faces. I was watching them. I felt the discomfort in the room. But y'all saw them young people up here? Y'all saw it? Yep. Oh, I mean, I was there. But you saw it. And, pardon?
I know we're doing a discussion. I mean, how do we bridge that gap between the discomfort and the...
There's really no bridge. There is no bridge. And that's a pill that's hard to swallow. But there is no bridge. Because...
You're a bridge. I said it because it ain't quite a run either.
No, it really ain't.
It ain't quite run.
But I do it because I know that it's reaching individuals. I think our biggest problem is that we think that our salvation is about us.
I was going to say too, I think we regard our comfort above...
Yes, above others.
And we don't know how settling ourselves to be discomforted. And I know that we trained...
That is what Mrs. Cumberbatch said. She said we don't want to interrupt our lives. We don't want to do that. We don't want to inconvenience ourselves. When I opened saying this, youth ministry is messy. We have to get our hands dirty. It is not pretty. It is not pretty. These children are going to make us mad. We are going to want to strangle them because they're going to do stupid things. But we have to be around. We have to be around. Because their blood is on our hands. We don't like to say things in that church because you think we're putting too much pressure on people. But God is going to say to you, what did you do with my sheep? I gave them to you. I brought them into your church. I put the youth leader gifting and anointing on the inside of you. They are attracted to you. What did you do with them? What are we doing? We can't expect our senior pastors to do it. You know what they are? Senior. Listen to me. It is a scary place that we are in right now. Because the truth of the matter is we are literally at a turning point. If we don't make the change now, 3 years from now, we could see results that are detrimental to our church. 3 years from now, if we really process this, if we don't make a change in what we're doing now, 3 years from now, our church will not have one young person in it. And I know it sounds like I'm speaking death, but I want you to really think about the numbers. Think about the amount of young people in your church now. Think about their ages. Most of them like around that, who come in church? They're like around that grade 9, grade 10, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. 3 years from now, when they get out of school, they are not coming to church. Or, when you see that grade 11, grade 12, little hormones start jumping up and down. Excuse me, mommy, where are you going? You can't talk to me. I laughed last night because I was walking past, coming to speak to Bishop, and I overheard one of the parents from our youth ministry saying to another member of our church, my children more scared of Mericha than they scared of me. When I have a problem, I gotta call her to deal with my daughters. They listen to her. They ain't listening to me. Every single one of us as youth leaders should have that kind of influence over our young people in our church. Every single one of us. We've said a lot. Now let's talk about some practical things that we can do.
I just want to say, I'm sure I'm looking into that. Consistency plays a very important part, and it has to be relative as to what is happening. When we talk about the young people in church now, with the little kids, while the service is going on, they're playing with their iPad,
Yes.
etc. I remember when we was small at their age, we were in church not using the iPad because it wasn't there. We were playing XOX or we were playing hide and mind on the paper while the service was going on.
I'm
so,
watching.
yes, so that's the things we were doing when we were young.
Right.
And then when we got to 15, 16, then what happened was that we were part of the church band. So it helped us as we now started playing the drums, etc. So that kept us there. So now we need to use that same avenue with our young people. When we see what they're doing now, we need to tap into that. And then when they grow older, then they merge into something else.
Yes, that's really good. Thank you so much. All right, so let's talk about some practical things that we can do. Here are 3 things that we need to focus on when it comes to youth ministry. We need to focus on marketing, what we do before. What do we do before? Before that night, how do we market it? How do we present it? What do we do to get them there? What are we doing? Let's talk really fast. What are we doing to get them there? Other than making an announcement in church. WhatsApp, Facebook, what else? Instagram, what'd you say? You have, okay. How do you get them there? Posters. Okay, so we said WhatsApp, we said Facebook, we said Instagram, we said posters. What else? Is there anything else we can do? Talk to them. I know we are in this new age, right? Where, yes, social media is invading and it's taking over, but we have to remember this one thing. There's nothing more powerful than me coming to you and speaking to you. We can't lose personal touch. So that means that marketing for us is going to be very expensive and it's going to cost us more time and energy than anything else. We have to go. That might mean that you have to have 25 individual conversations. I say this to my youth leaders all the time. Listen, I say to them, you all help me. Let's put some pressure on them. All of us message them individually. I don't care if all 7 of us leaders messaging one teen at the same time. Let's all do it because the pressure what they got going on over there is 10 times more than what we're putting on them. So if you got a team of 5 leaders or 5-year leaders, talk to all, however many of your children, all at the same time and say, hey, come to church. Hey, we doing this. Hey, we doing that. Come here. We got this for you. Come. We cannot say it enough. We have to do the work beforehand. If we don't do it, ain't nobody coming. If we don't place the pressure on it, they're not coming. All right? So we have to do the work before. Now, second thing, what are we going to do when they get there? How do we engage them? Let's talk practical things now. Let's be real. We gave an example. We need to figure out what it is that they're interested in, and see how we can bring it into the church. So we talked about, let's maybe try the little jungle thing. Let's try having a night where it's all about social media. Let's find crazy things to do. Like, we did one night, we did like a human pyramid. We was doing something, but it was falling off the stage, and like we was doing this thing where we had them stand in the rope and we was pulling the rope around them, and they had to find ways for everybody to stay in the rope before they fall down. And then we had somebody there with the camera recording it and posting it on social media. Look at what we do in a new group. It's cool. I mean, I know that seems so I know that don't really seem like anything profound, but it's something to do. It's something to do. We all have churches. You'll be surprised. Listen to me. You'll be surprised what you would do without one little church building you have. Plan a scavenger hunt. Put clues underneath the pews. Listen to me, the internet is an amazing place. You need a scavenger hunt, you can type in scavenger hunt for youth ministry. They will lay out the whole thing for you. Tell you which clue leads to the next clue, give you places to put it. I mean, listen to me. We can find things to do while they are there. And the one thing that we have to make sure we do is then when we sit them down and bring them the word, let's make sure the word level is where they're at. Let's make sure it's applicable. Let's make sure it's relatable. Let's make sure they can apply it right then and there. Let's not let them leave without at least one takeaway. This is what I'm going to do differently this week. Our last week was, like I shared, it was a struggle. It was a struggle because we was trying to get them to read their Bible, pray, and listen to gospel music for the first thing in the morning for 3 days, and they couldn't even do that. Some of them was complaining like, Congressman, really? And I was sitting there baffled. Yeah. My mind was blown. Because I was like, what y'all must be doing in the morning? What y'all must be doing? Listen to me. They have a talk. As adults, some of us can't even imagine not talking to God before we leave the house. Or even like, the furthest thing from our mind is secular music first thing in the morning. But that's what they turning up with. They having their own little club session first thing in the morning. And so, we need to find takeaways. What is this one thing that you are going to do differently when you leave here? Today, if we're having Sunday school, or if we're having children's church, or if we're having teen church, or if we're having youth group, what is the one takeaway what is the one thing that we're going to impress upon them to do this differently? And then, the last and final thing we have to do is follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. This is the most important part. And for those of us who've been in ministry a long time, you will realize this. You really have to have an anointing for following up. I told you that I came from Holy Trinity and I came to Life Worship Center. Holy Trinity, at the time that I was there, was 3,000 members strong. There was one lady who had the responsibility of follow-up. That was her job. The church paid her to come, sit down to a desk, and call people and say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, how's your family doing? I saw that, so-and-so was in the hospital the other day. We'll make sure, so-and-so comes to visit you and, give you community and so on and so forth. So this is the most difficult, yet the most important thing when it comes to youth ministry. If we don't follow up, we're going to lose them. I know it seems like we babying them. I know. We are. Let's not pretend. We have to do this to adults too. So let's not make it seem like this is some newfound, no, this is something that we have to do. So let's just suck it up, stop complaining about it, and let's find creative ways to do it. We have to follow up. We have to say, okay, so we released a challenge in our last meeting to read your Bible and pray and listen to gospel music first thing in the morning. How are you doing with that? And if they say to you, it's been hard, don't brush them off. So talk to me about why it's so hard. It is expensive. It's going to cost us time, effort, and energy. It's going to cost us money too. Because you will find that when you reach out and you say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Boy, this event, I'm so depressed. Why are you depressed? What's going on? I just I'm going to eat. I don't have anything to eat. So what you gotta do now? Put a lot of money out your pocket and make sure you have something to eat. The beautiful thing and the painful thing about this ministry is this. We get to change lives, but it's going to cost us. And if you're not ready to spend yourself into another individual, don't do this. Go usher. I'm insulting the ushers. But what I'm saying is, if you are not willing to get your hands dirty, if you're not willing to get involved, go sit by the soundboard. No, for real. Go cook the food. No, seriously, if we are not willing to put, this is not an area of ministry that you can put some of yourself into. You have to put all of you in. And it has to be something that you think about on a daily basis. It's not a 1 day a week commitment. It is something that we have to think about on a daily basis. That's why if you hear, you either call to it or you're not. The gift is either on the inside of you or it's not there. But it has to be something that we do every day. So let's rehearse those 3 things again. Marketing. We need to figure out how we're going to market it. What are we going to do when they get here? And how are we going to follow up? Conrad is rushing me to end. I just want to open the floor for just a few questions. I have permission to do that?
We'll do it in the forum.
In the forum at the end? Okay, all right, cool. All right, I saw a few hands.
I just wanted to make a comment on Ask's question. And it's also important for us to have a welcoming attitude.
Yes.
Especially with persons, if you haven't seen them in church in a while, you didn't call them, you didn't find out why they didn't come. So when they come, you like, where you been all the time? Hey, stranger! And it makes people feel uncomfortable.
That's what we have in the town we have, you know.
Yeah, you want to make them feel welcome, and yeah, you won't see them for a long time, you don't know what's going on. Let's welcome them back and let them just feel like they're back at home.
I realize that that's a
And a lot of people are cast away from the church because of attitudes.
Yes.
When they come to the house of the Lord.
If any of you have ever spent any time outside of this country, you will realize this is a behaviour thing to do. Girl, why you put on so much weight? We say insulting things in a nice way. Listen to me, that is strictly behaving. Strictly behaving. So when it comes to church, we gotta kind of break that little, behaving bubble in us that wants to point out the thing that is evident. It is the orange elephant in the room. Everybody can see it. We ain't got pointed out. No, I mean, we know you ain't been to church since Christmas, since Easter Sunday. That is not a secret. Let's just leave it. Because we don't know why. And instead of walking up to the person, like Mrs. Cumberbatch said, and be like, I see a stranger. Girl, where you been? Walking to them and be like, it's so good to see you. What's been going on with you, man? Like, what's happening? I feel like, I ain't feeling you. What's going on? Everything good? You need anything? We don't ever ask people if they need anything because we won't give it. Yeah, we won't give. Do it. This ministry is messy. We have to get our hands dirty. We have to be committed to it. So we have to be committed to marketing it. We got to do it. We got to figure out what they're into and bring it into the church and sanctify it and redeem it and make sure that they understand that they're doing it to the honor and glory of God and not to the honor and glory of themselves or anybody else. And then we got to follow up. We have to invest and spend ourselves in the lives of these young people. Thank you so much.
We were talking about the social media and the electronics. When you were talking about the social media and you're all using the electronics, I know even at sometimes when I do meet with my young people and we want to have an open discussion, at the beginning of my discussion, I will say all electronics up front. So I will confiscate electronics from them, the phones, the tablets and everything, so I can get their full attention. And it's just amazing that one comment can open up a whole conversation and can lead to different areas. They're able to open up and to express, and by them expressing, sometimes I tell them, okay, we running out of time, we gotta leave. No, Sister Kay, I gotta say something else. Or they totally forget about the electronics because now they're engaging now. And so sometimes, yes, the electronics are good in its place, and then sometimes you just need to have that one-on-one conversations with them, that social awareness that, hey, you know, at the end of the day, we still have to talk. And another thing I needed to add was that when you mentioned about how we treat them, because you know, a lot of the older persons, they don't know how to talk to young people. And so I find that sometimes when I come to them and I say, well, so-and-so said this to me, and so sometimes I have to go to the older folks and say, if you have a situation with any of the young people in here, come to me first. Let me deal with them.
That's a really good approach, yeah.
Let me deal with them. If you have an issue with them, if you don't like what they did or what they're doing, come to me, and in return, I will speak to them and let them know. But at no point in time, I want you to approach them, because your approach, I can take your approach because I've been here long enough to understand you and know your attitude and know that, hey, you're saying it and you're not really meaning it the way but they're going to interpret it the wrong way. And so you come to me, let me be that middleman, or you say like Geico, let me be that middleman and let me deal with them.
That's really good. Thank you so much. I think it's important for us, like you said, to have that disconnect, that electronic disconnect. We also do need to use these tools though to our advantage. Let's say you're having a discussion, you throw no questions, and individuals are shy about asking that question out loud. Give them a number to text it to, and let them use their phones in the actual session that you're gathering. So you come together and you say, okay, we're having a discussion about sex. They have questions about it, and I promise you, they picking up no microphone or standing up in front of nobody, asking no questions about sex. They will not do that. But if you say to them, here's this number that you could text, only me one, to know who asking the question. You ask the question, and then that way the phone is in their hand, and they're using the phone in the actual session that we're having. So we just have to find ways to use what we have. You know, challenge them, make them install the Bible app on their phone. If they tell you they ain't got no space, tell them delete something else. And tell them, you need that. You need that. There are certain apps they keep on their phone and certain things they delete for the sake of storage. You tell them, listen, when it comes to storage, the Bible app is not an option. Keep that. Keep that. And so let's make sure that we are creating a balance. I love what you said. I love what you said, Sister Kay. We have to unplug and disconnect. Even as adults, we have to do that as well. We have to put our electronics aside and disconnect. But let's use these things to our, what is not the right word? However, let's use these things to our benefit as well. Okay?
Put your hands together. You can do that in that. All right, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Use the bathroom, get some water, come back. We kind of just pushing it a little bit more because we have some folks that have to fly out. So they wanted to catch up on the sessions before they fly out, which is going to be in a little while. So we just kind of want to push the timetable a little bit more. We have about 2 sessions left, and then we do that. Y'all want us to keep going, or y'all need to go get water? Okay. All right. You got 5 minutes. Get some water, get something to drink or something on the line. Go and take use the bathroom, something, and then come right back, and then we'll get moving with our next session. Give me some music, DJ. Put the time on the wall.
Yeah. No. Yeah.